Hey, Grace, it's Marriage Monday. Many times we become discontent in our marriage rather than being content in our marriage. Now, the reason we often become discontent is because we are bombarded with many different images and definitions and pictures and visions and perhaps even dreams of what it means to be in a healthy and a happy marriage. And so we look outside of what we have and we see all that is told to us that we should have or that we should be like. And so it puts us in this tailspin sometimes of a constant pursuit, and we try to force things to happen, or we're always dissatisfied with what we have because we're always comparing it to someone or to something else. But many times we're discontent with our spouse, or we're discontent in our marriage because they're not living up to the image that we have of them. In other words, they're not living up to our image of them as husband or as wife. And so we have to, in many ways, do away with our image of them. So whose image, therefore, do we replace that with? Well, ultimately, the images of Christ and Christ's image in them and who he wants them to become as a man, a woman, as a husband, and as a wife. And so we have to learn to be content. Now, content doesn't just simply mean settling, and content doesn't mean taking for oneself and being satisfied within oneself. Content, to be content, as Paul would put it, in all circumstances, is to learn not to take, but to share. And so in our marriage, to learn to be content with our spouse is not to learn to take or to even receive first, is to learn to give first. The more we share with one another who we are, the more we share ourselves and give ourselves to the other, the more we will find ourselves being content in every season and in every circumstance. So the secret, if we could put it that way, for marriage, the secret to being content is not me-sufficiency. It's not even us-sufficiency, being husband and wife. It's Christ-sufficiency. It's him being sufficient for me, him being sufficient for my wife, Alyssa, him being sufficient for us. We share in him, he shares with us of himself, and in turn we share with one another and find ourselves being content with one another, content in this marriage.